Hey, what is up guys? Today I'm going to be looking at the HTC M8 and the HTC M9. If you get lost, the dark color or the 2014 model is the M8. That's last year. And the white, nice light color, new iteration for 2015. So the first thing that we're going to speak about is the prices for these devices. The price of the M9 is about $750 off contract. The price of the M8 is $750 off contract. So that's really good to know. They kept the price the same. Realistically, the price should have went down if you have almost identical products. Let's talk about the screen on these guys. So as always, you could double tap the display to turn them on. The display on the M8 and the M9, it's basically the same exact 5 inches in size. It also has the same 1080p display. Both of them have the same amount of PPI, 441 if you like to keep track of the numbers. Both displays are almost identical. They're similar or identical LCD panels they use. The M9 has like a blue tinge when you look at the whites, like the whites are a whiter, and the M8 is sort of like a yellow hue to it. So it's the M8 is warmer, but the M9 is a lot more vibrant. Besides the differences that exist between the blue hue and the almost yellow display, the color reproduction is almost identical for both of these devices. Both of them have Gorilla Glass protection. This one has Gorilla Glass 4, this one has Gorilla Glass 3 protection on it. So not a whole lot of differences on a screen. So you can see how similar this is when I said the prices should have been almost the same or even lower. In terms of size and weight, everything's almost identical as well. They're both identical in the way they look. The M9 is just 4 grams lighter. 4 grams is like you won't even know how much a gram actually weighs. So the M9 feels like the M7 or the device from 2 years ago, and the M8 is a lot more slippery in terms of the body. If you look closely to the side, you can see that ridge or almost lip that exists there on the M9, and that lip or ridge keeps the device a little sharper on the edges. Now, just doing a quick walk around these devices, at the top of these devices, as you can see, the M8 has the power button as well to the top. When built in the IR blaster. With the M9, it's just flush. It's nothing else there, just the IR blaster. Turning to the right hand side of the devices, you can see the M9 has the power button to the side now, which is great. Feels really nice in the hand. They also have it like gridded or textured so that users would know and differentiate from the volume up and down buttons. One thing I want to let you guys know is the down button on the M9 it's almost sticky for some reason on my unit, and that's fine. It hasn't stopped working as yet, so fingers crossed nothing goes wrong. Turning to the base of these devices, you can see that 3.5mm headphone jack as well as the micro USB for charging and syncing your phone. That being said, however, this one's nice and flush. However, with the M9, it's almost like it has a lip or a raise to it, so it's a lot grippier, and it's gold accent, so that's pretty beautiful. And to the left hand side, the ports are still the same slot, same all of that stuff as the last generation. The really true big differences between these devices is just the depth camera has been moved on the M9. It's not there anymore. So not a whole lot of changes in terms of design, just like a little tweak here and there in terms of the design and build quality of these devices. Now, if we were to speak about the cameras on these devices, it's pretty interesting. Firstly, at the front, we have the M8 has a 4 megapixel at the front, and the M9 has a 5 megapixel at the front. But here's the tricky bit now. Both of them film 1080p and all that good stuff. At the back of the M8, it has this ultra megapixel camera, and which basically gives you a lot more light to come into the center of the device, and what that allows you to do is get brighter images in low light conditions. And this camera on the M8 is now to the front of the M9, so they saved a little money there. And the selfies that you get off the camera is damn good. Like, it's really good. I took some really good selfies, as you could probably see in some shots. To the back of these devices, you have the 5 megapixel here and that dual or depth perception camera. With the M9, that's gone. It's wiped out. Now you have the same LED flash that you had before, but now you have a 20.7 megapixel camera. But the sensor that they use is a Toshiba, and we'll get a little bit into that in my review, so be sure to subscribe. As you can see as well, the back of these devices, the body, you know, the M9 is a lot more glossier and shinier, and that's because they used a new method when they were painting the body compared to this, you know. The brush aluminum looks a lot nicer on the M9 compared to the M8. I found that the 20 megapixel camera on the M9 was not as good as I was expecting it to be. It's not a game-changing step up, you know. Images are a lot sharper, but at the same time, the software or something, I don't know what it is, I think it's a sensor, is just not that good. Like, whites are blown out in the daylight, and I'll be sure to watch my review for that. Now, in terms of processing power for these devices, what you're looking at here is a Snapdragon 801 processor clocked at 2.27 gigahertz with 2 gigabytes of RAM. With the M9, you have an octa-core clocked at 1.5 gigahertz, which is basically two quad-core chips to make up the 8-core or the octa-core processor, and this one has 3 gigabytes of RAM. But here's the real beauty of that RAM that you know, that 3 gigabytes of RAM here, it's DDR4, so it uses a lot less energy, it's a lot more power efficient, I should say. Additionally, it's a lot faster when you're using it to compress images, so you could get a lot more done with the processing power in the M9. So in terms of beast mode, the M9 is a beast. Like, there's tons of power on board. With the M8, however, it's still a really great phone, but it's not as beasty or as the M9. But we'll look at some benchmark tests. I'll put up the scores right now for you guys to see, and you can see it's almost identical when you're comparing the terms of processing power on these devices. I'm not sure why that is. I was expecting the M9 to score a lot higher, almost double the score, you know, compared to the M8, but maybe that's just the software. Maybe it's not optimized for the hardware fully as yet. I got the same snappy feel that I feel in both of these devices, in the M8 and the M9. I don't find there was a huge step up in terms of day-to-day performance. I found that the speakers on the M8 were louder than the M9. However, this has better quality speakers, and by quality I mean the sound sounds a lot crispier, it's a lot more punchy. It takes your breath away, to be honest with you. That's the best way. I never knew speakers on a phone could get so good, or the quality could sound so good without having a headphones or over-the-ear headphone set. I wasn't expecting that quality, and I gotta say that in terms of quality, the M9 has a big step up compared to the M8, and I gotta be honest with you. It's not as loud as the M8, but hey, I'll take quality any day. One other thing that I need to let you guys know is that the M9 comes with this theater mode, where you just simply either swipe down from the top, and then you could just hit the button and switch the mode to theater mode, and you got a lot more crispier, in-depth sound. So if you're watching movies in your bed, this sounds so good, so good. Like, I mean, wow, I couldn't believe when I heard it. And it's all Dolby audio, like I said before, 5.1. So it sounds really, really good, guys. So definitely, if you want it, in terms of quality, I think the M9 is like the phone to beat in terms of audio quality for 2015. So here's what you need to know about the battery life on these devices. This is a 2600 milliampere hour battery life, 2840, so you get 240 milliampere hour battery life. We'll talk about the usage in a second. That being said, both of these are non-removable. Both of these devices also support Snapdragon's Quick Charge 2.0, which gives you about 60% battery life in just about 30 minutes or so, they claim. That being said, however, in terms of usage, what I've noticed was like, they're almost evenly matched, but they're not. With the M8, I was able to get on a day-to-day usage for about the past year, about 11 to 14 hours. With the M9, however, I'm able to get about 9 to 13 hours, and that's with like really heavy use gaming and all of that stuff. Be sure to watch the review if you want a full detail on how my battery is. That being said, I want you to bear in mind one thing. This is a quad-core processor. That means it has 8 cores working to do simple tasks. This is a quad-core processor, which has 4 cores working in tandem to do simple tasks. So obviously, you see a big bump in battery usage just on the M9. That being said, however, I want to let you guys know one thing. Be sure to watch my power saving video. It has a lot of cooling good tricks for you guys if you have an M8 to save battery life. If you want a quick tip, just enable the power saving mode that you find in the settings. That's going to give you only 4 cores of usage. It's definitely going to help your battery life out, but be sure to check out my video. Turning our eyes to the M8, it runs Android 5.0 with Sense 6.0, which is almost identical to Sense 7.0. To be honest with you, all of the overlays and themes and all the customizations that you see in the Sense 7 or the M9 is there available for you to use on the M8. So there's absolutely no differences in terms of software, and that's a really good thing. Thumbs up, HTC. Now turning to the M9, you can see it's the same Android 5.0 with Sense 7 though. Like I said, the Sense or the UI is identical. There's not a whole lot difference to it. Now the big question that you guys are probably asking, which one should I get? Should I get the upgrade from the M8 to the M9? That's a really tricky question. Firstly, if you have an M8, should you get the M9? No. These devices, you know, they deliver that performance. HTC is supporting these devices. I mean, I got 2 updates for the I got 2 updates from the M8. So the phones are really good phones. Over time, it's going to get better and better, as software always does. So I'm going to let you guys know. If you got an M8, there's no need to get the M9. If you're looking at the M9, it's a great phone. Don't listen to all the reviews that are out there. Most of them are actually paid for by the companies and special interests as well. So you want to be aware for that. So definitely, this is my comparison. It's really short, really simple. I hope you guys did enjoy this. This was my comparison for the M8 to the M9. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button down below. My review for both of these devices are up, or it's going to be up, annotated right here. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. For the next app, I want to make sure that you turn off the high performance mode that's found on Android. New iteration for 2015. Is it iteration? Huh. I don't know. We'll check that out. The M9 comes with this theater.